Hi, this is Morley, and this is the M-Wire. In this video, we're going to look at whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse, the Kenosha shooter, was shot at first before he returned fire. But first things first, a big shout out to my new subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. I love and appreciate you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. The support would not go unnoticed, believe me. Well, there's new evidence now that supports that Kyle was actually shot at first before he returned fire. I would love to be able to show you the video of that, but unfortunately this is YouTube and that probably wouldn't go over very well. But what I am going to show you is a still from the scene that at least proves that there was another gunman in his close proximity that was pointing a gun in his general direction. Take a look at this photo here. Now that you've seen that, I mean, what was Kyle to do? He's being chased down by a mob of people that want to obviously do him harm. He happens to have a gun. He's shot at first. If you get a copy of the video and you listen and you hear the first shot, it has a different tonal quality than the shots after it, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't resonate the same. So that in itself is kind of alludes to what I just said. I mean, more and more people are going to exercise their Second Amendment rights as these things progress. Things are getting increasingly tense in America, and gun sales are through the roof, but who can blame people at this point? We have an inherent tendency to protect ourselves. There's no way that this is going to continue without people retaliating. I'm sorry. I would say at this point, people have been very patient, actually. But in regards to Kyle, he actually is lawyered up with the same lawyer that Nick Sandman had for his case. So that's good. But like I say, people are going to exercise more and more of their Second Amendment rights, and who can blame them? Let's get into this here. Video evidence proves BLM thugs shot at Rittenhouse first, proving he was only firing back in self-defense. If it wasn't clear enough in the initial street video, there is now more video evidence proving that Kyle Rittenhouse acted in self-defense when he shot two Antifa BLM thugs and injured one on the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Even though he clearly saved his own life from fatal threats, 17-year-old Rittenhouse is being charged with first-degree intentional homicide. He was arrested in his hometown of Antioch, Illinois the next day. The media declared Rittenhouse to be a fugitive from justice, even though he turned himself over to law enforcement after he was attacked. Gun-toting felon fired the first shot, vindicating Rittenhouse, who properly defended himself. In the street footage, Rittenhouse was fleeing the mob of assailants, one of which appeared to carry a handgun. In the video, the handgun-toting assailant fired the first shot. The muzzle blast can be seen clearly on the cell phone video. There were reportedly 8 other shots fired in the distance before Rittenhouse was faced with a life-or-death decision. If he was being chased and audibly shot at, Rittenhouse showed tremendous patience and resolve. Instead of turning around and firing at the assailants upon hearing the first gunshot, Rittenhouse kept retreating, running away from the threats. One assailant allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail during the chase. When Rittenhouse fell to the pavement, the assailants narrowed in and attempted to bash him to death with a skateboard. Rittenhouse waited until the last moment to defend himself, saving his own life as he was being bashed in the head. Even more telling, one of the assailants narrowing in was clearly holding out a handgun. As that assailant narrowed in, this is when Rittenhouse made a wise decision, putting a round in the head of another round in the chest of 2 nearest assailants while injuring another. Rittenhouse fired just 4 shots, stopping short of putting down other assailants that could have also been packing. There were also the alleged 8 other rounds fired from unknown sources before another 8 shots were fired as Rittenhouse defended himself. Rittenhouse alleged he had been carrying the semi-automatic rifle to protect a nearby business from the threat of rioters and looters. The area he was chased down had previously been ransacked by looters who had clearly busted out car windows. Rittenhouse, under duress under fire, ultimately saved his own life from Antifa thugs and other violent demonstrators who had been rearing up Kenosha for 3 straight days. The first assailant has been taken down was Joseph Rosenbaum, 36. Video allegedly shows him chasing Rittenhouse and throwing something at him. Rosenbaum was a registered sex offender for a sex crime involving a minor. The second assailant, wielding a skateboard, is Anthony Huber, whose rap sheet includes battery and strangulation. The man wielding a handgun is allegedly convicted felon named George Goss Cruz. He is also a member of the People's Revolution Movement, a communist group that seeks to overthrow America. The left-wing media is trying to paint these Antifa BLM assailants as civil rights heroes, but they are nothing more than violent thugs with a history of violence who are actively pursuing an innocent young man. It's time for Democrat young mayors and governors to stop siding with these Antifa BLM terrorists and condoning their behavior. It's time for these traitorous Democratic leaders to be held accountable when they openly allow these domestic terror groups to continue their rampage, threatening innocent lives. In the wake of Kenosha, how many young and innocent people will be left with no option but to act in self-defense, only to be crucified by the left-wing traitorous media? When the true criminals be tried and the innocent be set free. No kidding. This kid is simply defending himself. To those that say that he's a minor and he has no right to be carrying the gun, Wisconsin law says that minors can carry shotguns and rifles, which he had. So forget that. Thank you so much for watching my video. I greatly appreciate it, and God bless.